Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The procedural issue I am raising, the atmosphere under which we transact business here must be free. When we are considering the amendment, the so-called coffee bill, we had military people raiding parliament, beating up MPs and arresting others, switching off rights, locking up journalists in the conference center, in the basement. This morning I came here. I had mobilized the people of Chira to come here and witness proceedings today because I am here on their behalf. But I came here when the whole parliament had been barricaded by policemen with guns. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The procedural issue I am raising, the atmosphere under which we transact business here must be free. When we are considering the amendment, the so-called coffee bill, we had military people raiding parliament, beating up MPs and arresting others, switching off rights, locking up journalists in the conference center, in the basement. This morning I came here. I had mobilized the people of Chira to come here and witness proceedings today because I am here on their behalf. But I came here when the whole parliament had been barricaded by policemen with guns. So the procedural issue I am asking, and I have also seen people who look like SFC in suits stationed somewhere. So I want to be assured, Madam Speaker, that you are not going to surrender us like last time to be beaten by SFC.
How did I surrender you?
We are under you. We thought you will not allow that rights are switched off, that an unknown people...
Honorable, you mean you've reduced me to that level of switching on and switching off lights? Huh?
Madam Speaker, I thought you as a speaker...
I will always protect my members. I will protect my members. Next item. Yes, Lop.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like that you guide. Last week, before you adjourned the House, I did raise a critical matter regarding the bills that are before us to process, which are on the order paper for second and third reading. And the complaint that I raised at the time, Right Honourable Speaker, was that we were hurrying through the process. I even tabled here notices by the clerk to Parliament and the clerk to the committee, inviting very hastily stakeholders to come and give input to the UPDF amendment bill and, of course, the political parties amendment bill. Honourable Speaker, the stakeholders that were invited, most of them received those communications at 8 a.m., requiring them to be present before the committee at 9 a.m. Uganda Law Society received their letter at 11:50 a.m., and they were being required to appear at 12 noon, 10 minutes later. And yet that was the only day available for submission of views, memoranda, and so on and so forth. When I raised this issue before you, Right Honourable Speaker, you committed and said that I should not worry. The process is going to be given adequate time. After all, according to our rules, we've got 45 days within which to process these bills. That was your commitment, Right Honourable Speaker. You said, let me not worry. You're going to give adequate time to process these bills. And some of these stakeholders actually wrote back to the committee requesting for time on Monday, Tuesday, and so on. But as we went into the weekend, colleagues on the committees that were considering these bills were at a hotel considering the bill and writing their reports. In other words, disregarding the views of the different stakeholders. Honorable, I don't know if you want to allow information in my procedural point.
Can you finish on your procedural point?
Even though I know he had a very critical issue to beef it up. But like I was saying, Honorable Speaker, it appears as if there was a machination to look out the different stakeholders. And yet you committed, Right Honorable Speaker, that there's going to be adequate time. And I said, we are going to follow your guidance, which you gave here. But that did not happen. I don't want to think that the Speaker lied to us as the House. Or could it be that the committee disregarded your ruling? Because when you speak, when you're in that chair, you're giving guidance and ruling. You said the committees are going to avail adequate time. But the committees went into the weekend and they began to write their report. What happened, Right Honourable Speaker? Did the committee disregard the guidance that you gave? I would request that you help us on that matter.
Thank you. Honourable Lop, to the committee, and after forwarding to the committee, they are supposed to report back. And we give them 45 days, within the 45 days. Now, if the committee finishes work in one day, who am I to say that, why have you finished it today? And secondly, when the work is done, I apply Rule 26. I put this work on the order paper. I do not get involved in the committee work. Committee work is by the whips. Government chief whip, opposition whip, independent whip, all those ones. Prime Minister, maybe you could answer why you have hurried with your work to bring in the House. Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, some time back I told you I'm one of the best performing Prime Ministers. So if I can produce work in such a short time, I want the leader of opposition to appreciate. That's what I can.
Yes, Lop.
Honourable Speaker, it's very possible, by the way, that the Prime Minister does not even know the contents of the committee report. But she was very quick to rise up to defend.
Honourable
Speaker, I am on procedure. Legal Committee Chairman, Honourable Namuyangu, I am on point of procedure. You're always absent here. You don't even know the rules.
Please.
Prime
Minister. Order. Honourable members. Honourable members. Honourable members. Let's have calm. Let's Lop finish his statement.
Honourable Speaker, I like that the Prime Minister ceases to get excited. Please don't get excited. This is a parliament of rules. And you have been here for quite a bit of time. I don't know why as Prime Minister you don't read the rules.
Honourable Lop, can you raise your issue?
And I was raising it before the Prime Minister, who doesn't know the rules, rose up to disorganize me.
No, you raise your issue. Raise your issue.
Let me then raise it. Hopefully the Prime Minister will be calm and quiet. Honourable Speaker, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted by the Prime Minister, I had expected, Right Honourable Speaker, the committee chairperson to help us, and because when you gave that guidance, that there's going to be adequate time, for me, I took that to be guidance for the committee. So I don't know why they hurried and locked out.
No, let's hear from the chair of the committee. Chair committee.
Perhaps.
Chair committee. There is one house.
Right Honourable, Parliament has 45 days within which to process a bill referred to it.
Yes.
That simply means that within 45 days you should be able to present the work. If that work is presented within a week, you have not offended any rule. If the work is presented within a day, you should be thanked for being efficient. And that's what we have exactly done. The bill is ready, we considered it, and we are ready to report to the House.
Next item.
Mr. Speaker, this is very critical. I do understand that a committee can process a bill even in 1 hour. Forget about one entire day. But you see, that is in the event when there are no interested people as stakeholders to give input. Because you see, our law passing process is supposed to be consultative.
Can we look at that
Right,
when we reach to the bill?
But that's all right. Let me finish this, right, Honourable Speaker, and then you'll guide. So the reason I have insisted on this matter is because there were stakeholders who were saying we want to give our input. And you locked them out. That's the challenge. You can produce and process a bill in even 1 hour.
As of now, we don't even know which stakeholder they interacted with.
I am a stakeholder, right, Honourable Speaker.
So what we need to do is to wait and hear which stakeholders they consulted.
Allow me to finish and then you rule, right, Honourable Speaker. Stakeholder, my political party received the invitation at 8 a.m. saying come at 9 a.m. That's the National Unity Platform. We wrote to the committee and they received the letter, requesting that this was very short notice. There's no magic we could do.
That is
and requested for Monday
that is on which bill
at
now?
9 a.m.
Which bill now are we talking
on the
about?
UPDF amendment bill.
Okay, let's first start with the
Allow
first
me to
bill.
finish, right, Honourable Speaker.
Yes, Lop.
The committee received our letter. They did not write back to us. So as we were waiting to show up on Monday to present our views, over the weekend they were busy processing, writing a report. That's problematic, right, Honourable Speaker, because you see, we are supposed to be a people-centered parliament, meaning that the laws we pass, we should be for the good of the people. Those people should be consulted so that they have their input. And by the way, you can end up disregarding the input of those stakeholders, but listen to them. You cannot disregard them and think it's okay. No, listen to them, and then you can disregard them. But when you don't give them opportunity to show up, you are violating our laws. Right, Honourable Speaker, finally, I was alarmed because you see, we seem to be creating and painting an atmosphere that regardless of what the views that come through are, this bill is finito. I saw with sadness the government chief whip late in the night. He was speaking to the media. He said, we have met and concluded that this bill is going to be passed as is. That worried me because the government chief whip, who is our colleague here, knows that this bill, the UPDF amendment bill, was brought to this house by government. I had thought that as government chief whip, you would be interested in a bill that you have brought.
What is the procedure?
I am raising it, I'm building it, right, Honourable Speaker. I had thought that as government chief whip, you would be interested in input of different stakeholders into your bill as government. But when you bring a bill, and then you say, we are going to pass it as is, regardless of any other input, regardless whether consultations have happened or not, that is problematic. That is outside. Speaker, my colleagues, and I want to appreciate them, they met through the night to even put together a minority report. But what you are saying is that that is disregarded. Right, Honourable Speaker,
give me the minority. Where is the minority?
Is it all right that we sit here and pretend that we are processing a bill within the law, that we are capturing the views of all the other people, and yet not? Because we gave you the benefit of doubt to say, okay, let's partake in this process. But you have abused that because you're saying we don't care. And at night, the government chief whip says, regardless, we are passing it as it is. So why did you invite people? Maybe that's why you didn't even give them time.
Thank you.
Right, Honourable Speaker, finally, I am very hard-pressed, together with my colleagues, for us to sit here and participate in a sham process. And I'm calling it a sham process because it is pretentious. When you bring a bill here, you should give it time for people to have their input. But you are saying, we don't want your input, we are going to pass the bill as is. That's why, Right Honourable Speaker, you did not rein in on the committee to give adequate time to the stakeholders. That means This is pretentious. This is a sham for these two bills, the UPDF Amendment Bill and the Political Parties Amendment Bill. So, Honourable Speaker, myself together with my colleagues, we are hard pressed to participate in this sham process. So we shall leave you here to participate in your sham process, to process your bill, pretending that you are getting the input of the people of Uganda and yet not. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I will take my leave because I don't want to participate in this sham process. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. Honourable members, next item.
Item 4. Item 4 on the order paper.
Honourable members, you recall that on Wednesday, 14th May 2025, Honourable Nakut Faith tabled the private members' bill, the Political Parties Amendment
Procedure.
Bill 2025.
Procedure.
For the first reading.
Procedure.
Yes, Jonah. Honourable members, can we have free sitting? Can we have free sitting? Justice, Shadow Justice.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, about...
Honourable members, listen to Honourable Dur.
Madam Speaker, about the President issued an instrument of appointment of a cabinet member in the name of Adonia Ayebare. Appointment of cabinet members are provided for in the Constitution, and reference to a member of cabinet is severally referred in our rules of procedure, how Parliament interacts with members of the cabinet. The procedural matter I'm raising is twofold. One is for the government, leader of government business, to brief this House, because my expectation was that a member appointed to cabinet would be forwarded to Parliament,
Appointments Committee.
for Parliament to Appointments Committee to interact, approve or disapprove, but also to inquire on the actual arrangement of that nature of appointment. The second procedural matter is that shortly after that appointment, Madam Speaker, there were informations in the public domain, and I saw copies of letters, that Ambassador Adonia Ayebare is implicated. There are allegations touching his conduct as our ambassador in New York, to the extent that he is being investigated by authorities outside jurisdiction of Uganda, and it touches a matter of public funds of an estimated $500,000 that was meant to benefit the government of Uganda. Up to now, Parliament and the country has not received any explanation, any justification, or even the steps being taken. So the procedural matter I am raising are twofold. One, to have a briefing how Parliament can interact with such a kind of appointment in cabinet. Is he a half cabinet minister? Is he a quarter cabinet minister? What kind of appointment is that? And then two, and I am not able to see him here because he's required to be here. But two, that particular allegation, which is very serious and soils the image of this country, what steps are being taken by the government? In the alternative, Madam Speaker, I would then persuade you that that matter be investigated by the relevant committee of this House, so that the image of the country, the image of Uganda, cannot be let go. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Jonah. Prime Minister, I need a report on what Honourable Jonathan is raising. I need a report on that. Honourable Balam, leave Honourable Odur. So what? We need a report on that. Jonah, we will have the report in the next sitting on what you have raised. One on the appointment and two on the allegations. And if the allegations are there, then we will have to forward it to our relevant committee for them to find out what is happening. Honorable members, as I was telling you, there was a report, an amendment on political parties, and was forwarded. It was brought by a private member, Honorable Nakut Faith, and pursuant to rules of procedure, I will now invite the sponsor of the bill to move a motion to that effect. Honorable Nakut.
Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Rule 136 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by Ogwang, by Shaggy, Shatis, Honorable Minister Kasaija, and the whole house except the Honorable Duru. Whole house. Would you love to speak to your motion?
Yes, Right Honorable. Right Honorable Speaker, it is true that on the 14th of May 2025, the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 was read for the first time and was referred to the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for scrutiny and report back to under the rules 135(1).
Right Honourable Speaker, the rules of procedure of this Parliament, which you have severally ruled and confirmed, states that the front bench on either side of the House are exclusively reserved for members of the two alternative governments.
Exactly.
The procedural matter I'm raising is whether the front bench on this side, where I'm seated uncomfortably, being disturbed by the Honourable Balam, the Honourable Ogwang, would it be proceeded to remove them and put them elsewhere?
Honourable members, that seat is meant for the ministers on the alternative.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, Okot, Junior, you're not a minister. Junior, no. The acting Lop has said you're not a minister.
Madam Speaker, let the record also capture that I am not
Honourable Dur.
as the acting Lop.
Honourable Dur.
Yes, I'm here.
Who is the justice?
So I really pray that you prevail that.
Okay. Nakut.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As I had said earlier, the bill was referred to
Honourable members, we gazetted the two front benches for ministers. And that is gazetted in our rules.
As are protected. The bill was sent to the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for scrutiny and report back under Rule 135(1) and 200 of our Rules of Procedure. Right Honourable Speaker, the object of the bill is to amend the Political Parties and Organizations Act, Cap 178, to achieve the following three things. One of them is to restrict government funding and other public resources provided to political parties and political organizations that are represented in Parliament to only political parties and organizations that are members of the National Consultative Forum. The other thing the bill seeks to address is to provide for the inter-party organization for dialogue and the forum for non-represented political parties and political organizations as organs of the National Consultative Forum. And finally, Right Honourable, The bill seeks to provide for the functions of the inter-party organization for dialogue and for related matters. Right Honorable Speaker, the Sectoral Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs